What is up, Culture Junkies? Welcome back to another great episode of Culture Junkies Live. I'm your host, Kenshiro. Episode 202 is live. I'm here with my friends, the great Dada Kuji, GQ, and Super Nerd Plus in studio, and also remote. We got Meow Yin and Fallen Marvel. How you guys doing today?
Doing all right today. I'm actually showing off my new lid for today. So.
Oh, dude, that's kind of
What's
dope,
up?
man.
Nice.
Hey, man,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
gonna need you to mail that to me, man. I'm gonna need you to mail that.
I can give you a link, my brother. You got to get your own.
Oh, okay. It's stingy as hell, man. Look at that.
What was commercial back in the 80s or is it 90s? You got to get your own. You're not Lego, man.
That was 80s. That was 80s.
So it's like,
Oh, my brother, you got to get your own. That was one of the
What was
commercials.
that?
That was the old song commercial they had. Remember
Right.
House Party?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember that.
Oh, my brother, you got to get your own.
All right, y'all. So today we're going to be talking about the Final Fantasy VII demo dropped 2 days ago, and we've had our times to play with it. But also, coronavirus is running rampant over the world, and is kind of affecting some of our favorite pastimes, is going to the movies. But so let's get right to it. First topic, please.
Sample the merchandise.
All right, check it. So 2 days ago, the Final Fantasy VII demo dropped. Everybody was super excited. I think that might be the most highly anticipated demo in probably maybe even the last 10 years. Like, everybody's been waiting for this game. I downloaded it, couldn't wait to play it. I'm sure many of my other panelists downloaded it, couldn't wait to play it. So let's get everybody's feedback on the demo. Let's start with you, Fallen Marvel. You're definitely an avid RPG fan. What was your takeaways from the Final Fantasy VII demo?
Just so far from what I've been able to see, I only really just had like a really quick taste of it. I haven't really gotten like the full experience of it. So just so far, it looks promising. I've been hearing feedback about how Barrett sounds in the game.
Dude,
and I know,
he sounds like the stereotypical black dude.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking.
which more or less, like, I kind of saw coming, more or less, because I mean, by all accounts, Barrett is the angry black guy. But
He was.
Wait, what?
I mean, overall, yeah. You said you were asking the question,
And I
Dido.
was just saying, what? I didn't know he was an angry black man.
Yeah, he was in the beginning, most definitely.
mean,
Final
straight
Fantasy.
up.
I
Angry
mean,
black man.
if you played the OG one or whatever, like, dude, like, looked all like he had a temper off tops, and he was always like arguing back and forth with Cloud, because Cloud would kind of like no sell what he was saying and shit, and it was just like he would just get so frustrated, and like I think he knocked somebody out in one part of the game,
Question, what kind of angry
so-
black shit was he
or
saying?
something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, okay,
Um,
you know what?
I'm just curious.
I'm paraphrasing,
just
but,
typical
something
stuff,
like,
but,
like,
yeah.
man, you better come correct.
Get out of here.
Yeah!
Dude, he was
It's
the
called
every
John
single.
Turkeys. He didn't say
It
that.
It was
It's
damn.
a
It was
jive
damn near
turkey.
that close, man. I mean,
man,
that's how
jive
bad it
turkey.
sounded.
Your boy.
It was, yeah, man. It was crazy, man. He couldn't just sound normal.
What do you mean? What's normal? See, that's the
Exactly.
thing is, there's more than one way. If
Man,
you-
don't hit me with that. What's
the truth.
normal?
No, I'm
He didn't have to
seriously-
sond like that.
What do you mean? What sound like that? You know, plenty
Like
a lot of
Luke
people
Cage
who
from the
talk like
70s?
He
that.
sounded like he came straight from the hood, dude. And
You know people that sound like that, and that's
he
their
didn't have
normal.
to sound like that, though,
But that's
man.
their
That's what I'm
normal.
saying.
That's what I'm saying. That's their
Yeah.
normal. So what's normal? Because, like, you and I've been saying, you sound like a white guy. It's like, I sound like whatever the hell I sound like, because white people think I sound black, and black people think I sound white. So, like, what's your normal? That's what I'm saying. I mean, he did sound like he was, the angry man. It's like, I don't trust this motherfucker. I'm surprised he didn't even say that, because it sounded like he wanted to say that. Like,
it did sound like it. That's exactly what he wanted to say.
Motherfucker.
I ain't gonna lie.
Like, seriously.
I'll accept that.
Yeah.
That's
like,
black
look,
shit.
It's like, look, as long as he doesn't go to the level of my man from Prototype 2, I think we'll be fine. Because they went over the top with Prototype 2. I keep forgetting my man's name, but he was just angry from the. It's like, I get it, but he was just angry from the time the game started all the way up until it ended, and it was just like,
Well, I mean,
I don't know. It
Let's
was
be real though. They could have got Sam Jackson.
Yeah.
They put Sam Jackson in there. Then y'all would have been complaining about Sam Jackson being buried. It sounds like he's extra angry.
No one complains about Sam
Oh,
Jackson.
people would have complained.
No, no one does that.
Not that guy.
No, I mean, and the
People
thing
in
is,
Kansas was shooting their TV because Sam Jackson said, "What's in your wallet?" So yeah, they would be.
Are you kidding
complaining.
me?
people are dumb.
I mean,
I haven't heard nothing
hey,
about that, but
all
that
I
is, it is ridiculous.
What?
Well,
It
people
is.
Are dumb. People are dumb. But
People are scary.
Well, people
Yeah.
are. Yeah, but isn't Barrett with Tifa?
No.
No.
I thought at one point he was supposed to be with Tifa.
Not that
no,
I'm
no.
Okay.
They were only-
Here
they
we go. Here goes
they
another
were
story.
colleagues
Right.
only. They
Finally.
were colleagues only.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly.
You're right.
Yeah.
So that's why he's angry. Then.
Yeah. Oh, because he wanted to smash Tifa? Okay.
Hang around Tifa all day long.
Here we go.
Tifa's the only character in the game that's even worth like paying any attention.
Okay,
to.
so check it out. Actually, no. Well, with
Well,
this game,
you can make an
with-
you can make an
yeah.
argument with that.
with this game looks gorgeous, dude. Like the amount of years that they spent developing this game, you can tell
Oh, no,
that
this
they
game better had looked gorgeous
dude,
after
okay.
30 years
Remember,
of development.
like, man, I mean, we're literally playing all the cutscenes of a Final Fantasy movie or
Oh, no,
even a game.
we're playing them better than they even look back then.
Yes,
And
yeah.
I
Oh, very
think
much so.
That's
Very
what's,
much
that's
so.
what's good about it. And the
Right.
thing is, the option to play it more action oriented makes the game interesting to me. Finally, after all this time.
Okay,
'Cause
so
I could
you
care
sound like
less.
you played it, right?
Oh,
Did you
yeah,
play
yeah, I
it?
played
Okay,
it
what'd
because
you think of it?
I played it only because you actually are controlling your characters and doing stuff versus
Turn-based.
I would like you to do this, and I will wait for it and watch you do that.
I
It's
didn't
like,
care about turn-based
I
until Final
hate
Fantasy
turn-based.
VII came out. Because, like, I remember when the Super Nintendo, NES, I was just like, ugh. And I was like, I'm not playing this game. The game seems boring as heck. But when Final Fantasy VII came out, it was, even though it was turn-based, because it was very cinematic or something we haven't seen before at the time, I was like, you know what, I'm going to give it a shot. And I enjoyed the whole entire game. And it made me want to play other turn-based games.
Right.
But I never got too far. Because after Chrono Trigger and then Wild Arms, and then I went into Luna Silver Star Story, and I never finished Luna
Well,
Silver
see,
Star
and that's
Story.
part of the reason why I liked back in the day Secret of Mana, because it wasn't turn-based. It was all you're controlling your character, you're doing everything in the battle. So I always preferred games like that over a Final Fantasy game. But this one is even though I was never really that big of a fan of Final Fantasy VII. I mean, shoot me, whatever. But this game is fantastic. It's like a day one must buy. I've got to have this game.
See, I thought that same thing, but I
know
think,
you-
No. It's not even that because I
Okay.
was going to give it leeway. It's like I will give at least one game a year that I buy at full price, maybe. But then my biggest issue is it's episodic. So you're gonna pay $60. You're not getting the whole game.
Well, okay,
Yeah,
that's
it's still to be
true.
determined how they're doing it. So,
Dude,
like, I
I'm
know
hearing there's gonna be
that.
chapters, dude. So it's like you.
I mean,
you-
yeah.
Yeah, I
I mean,
can't
yeah.
justify that because you know how many chapters that's going to be? You can have like 5 fucking different chapters and they're all $60?
Okay, here's,
Yeah, okay.
here's
Yeah,
the
okay.
thing.
I'll wait till that Ultimate Edition come out.
Okay.
And then get the whole thing.
here's the thing, though. What if the Ultimate Edition is like a 5 or 6 Blu-ray game?
I don't
'Cause you
see
know
that
dude, it might. Here's the thing. Think about how much information is probably packed on that disc. That thing is probably filled.
I agree.
So, because you got, not only do you have Japanese and English, at least, for sure, all those
Right.
cutscenes, all that, data and blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, and you saw how it looked. It wasn't looking like ratty. It was looking like, no, they took their time. This looks really, quality. So it's going to be interesting to see how many discs are going to be needed or how many releases essentially are going to be needed to cover this whole game. But, and going back to the turn-based thing real quick, I own Final Fantasy VII and 10. And both of them, I never got past the first. Well, 10 was on one disc anyway, I think. But I never got past the first disc on either one of those because it was just like, I'm bored.
It's more story driven. It's supposed to drive you that way. But Final Fantasy X, I can understand it because I got to Sin, and if I remember correctly, you have to defeat certain parts of Sin before you get to like the final part of Sin. And like I was
I'm
on
done-
like
I
the
was-
first
no.
part. I was just
Yeah,
like,
I'm done
man,
with
I can't play this. Final Fantasy X was the last turn-based game. I wanted to play. I was like, this game looks too good to be turn-based. And I was just like, I can't do it anymore. And then I was off Final Fantasy until 15 because they did what I wanted. They were able to bring in a story, make a beautiful game, and still change the way it was played, and I really liked the real time stuff. I liked that a lot.
Yeah, I mean, even though 13 was slightly turn-based, I still really enjoyed it because it felt more interactive. I felt like I was doing more, even though I wasn't fully controlling it. But, keeping it back to this game, Yayan, did you get to play this? We haven't heard from you yet. Did you get to play this game, this demo?
I am a slave of schoolwork. I have no fun.
It'll be there waiting
Well,
for
there
you
you
when
have
it
it.
does come out. Right. But no, this game, by all accounts, looks pretty fantastic. It was kind of jarring a little bit to be completely turn-based. I did like that they revolutionized some aspects of the boss battles, because like even when you fought the Scorpion drone thing, like you had to actually run behind some debris in order to get get behind some of its attacks. And no, it is not easy.
That battle is long.
That battle is
at least 20 something minutes, maybe a little bit more. And I'm just like, okay, if you keep up this pace,
right.
You keep up, this level of excitement to playing the game, I'm all in. But like
you probably have to do some level grinding in it.
Dude, I just want to know how this is gonna do it if the emerald weapon, the diamond weapon, the ruby weapon.
Oh my god!
If it's gonna be like that, I mean, there's a whole bunch. And then I also read that Red 13 is not gonna be playable, and I'm a little bit disappointed about that. They said
what?
Yeah, they said that he's not going to be playable. Apparently he's gonna be introduced really late into the chapter, and they weren't going to make him playable, but he's going to join your team and be AI controlled.
Well, shit.
You're not going to be able to control.
Okay, so are they saying that's going to be the same deal for Vincent? Are they saying...
No, they didn't say that in the interview.
Okay, what about Yuffie then?
They didn't say that.
Okay, well, okay.
But you probably won't even see them to the second chapter. Then,
if we're talking about that, if he's supposedly not going to show up until the end of the game, then it really looks like that we're basically following the same format as the original Final Fantasy VII, how it was split with 3 discs.
Yeah,
right.
Because so obviously it's probably going to end with the motorcycle part with the big robo thing at the end, and then whenever they come out with the second part, it'll be the more exploratory part of the game where we see play with the other characters, where we meet Vincent and Yuffie and so on and whatever.
Well, more than likely they are going to know that, because even that collector's edition comes with that bike, like that super crazy high-end collector's edition.
Hey, you gonna get that?
With the bike.
Right?
You gonna get that?
No, because you can't get it any other way but to order it direct through Square.
Oh, really?
So it's
and more than likely, it's probably sold out.
Probably sold out.
I'd be surprised if
it's on eBay for
like it's still
marked
available.
up by 5%, 5 times its original asking price.
More than likely,
something like that.
Right.
As long as, but the thing is, I think Vincent will be controllable because you could control Barrett in this game. In this demo,
and he has the guns too, and he had 2 long-range people.
So
that part was cool.
Cloud, Tifa, and Vincent, I'm good.
All right, cool. So we'll be looking out for Final Fantasy VII on the next go round. But moving on to the next topic.
Dun, dun, dun.
Mixed reactions.
All right, y'all. So I'm turning it over to GQ. He actually brought up this topic a little bit, and I don't even really want to talk about it. I'm already annoyed. So go ahead and bring it up, man.
Well, the latest rumor around the campfire, as they said in Pulp Fiction, is that the Snyder Cut has got new legs, that they potentially are going to be trying to use that for HBO Max as a way to, rope people into subscribing so they can see it, because it's supposed to be an HBO Max exclusive, and HBO apparently is supposed to be putting up $10 million to help get it finished.
Okay, I want to see the actual proof that someone actually wrote this somewhere, and it's got to come from the Hollywood Reporter or from Deadline, because otherwise they making shit up again. I'm like, you know what? I'm so sick and tired of this crap. I really am. I'm so sick and tired of this crap, man. These Snyder cults, and I mean, it's not even Snyder Cut, it's Snyder Cult, because they are straight up a cult now. It's like these guys will look for any little bitty nugget of wiggle room to say, oh, Snyder Cut's gonna get ready to come out. Dude, that shit doesn't exist. It's not real.
Okay, but Snyder's fanning the flames because
he is. And can we put out a hit on this man? Can we put a hit on him?
Because
Kill
the
him.
thing is, if
Damn,
That's a little hard.
right. The thing
Done
is,
hard, Holmes.
I look at it this way: if they do it, not only is it going to prove you wrong, but it'll actually be somewhat redemptive for that film. Because
Really?
yeah, because here's the thing: I look at it this way: if I'm editing something and putting something together, and then all of a sudden, for whatever reason, I can't do it. And if somebody else comes in that's the basically polar opposite of me and tries to finish that video that I was editing the way I would have done it, they're not going to be able to do it because they're not me. So Whedon coming in, Whedon and Snyder are two very different types of directors. They're both good at what they do. But Whedon came in, and with all the reshoots they did, basically Frankenstein that movie together and put too much humor in a movie that was already starting off trying to be dark. You know
Right.
for a fact the way that Affleck played Batman in Batman v Superman and then the way he played him in Justice League is two completely different characters.
Two completely
that's
different.
like an artist or musician dying, and his friend is trying to create his vision. It's not the same. Won't have that same feel to it.
Right. Like they've even said like Michael Jackson and Prince have so much unreleased music, but it's like
See, I can believe that.
But here's the thing. It's not that they're it's not that they're finished mastered tracks that are unreleased. It's notes and little sound samples and stuff. So who's really going to be able to come behind Michael Jackson or Prince and put together a song and put it out and it be as good as what they did from the actual people themselves doing it? You can't do that.
Okay.
So Snyder stepping down and Whedon coming in and trying to take over half of a movie basically, and then flip some stuff, put his own spin on it. You can't, have Henry Cavill shave his mustache. Like, all of that stuff piled on top of that is like, yeah, this movie was not going to get past it.
Okay.
It was not going to do well. So if Snyder has decided, hey, I'm over, the family tragedy I had, and I would like to make this thing work, dude, I'd like to see him I'd like to see it happen.
Can you
Because
see why
not?
Ken Sherrill was shaking over here? What's going on, G?
Can I ask?
I mean, look.
Can I ask you
Yeah,
a
go ahead.
very,
Go ahead.
very simple question? Can you answer this for me? What is the point of making this thing? Is it going to make the Snyder-influenced film series continue?
I don't really care. I just want to see how he would have done
You
the
don't
film.
really care. Okay.
Because look at it this way. Okay, that's like saying the Richard Donner cut should have never come out. And
Okay,
that came
but the
out
Richard Donner cut-
25 years after the fact.
Okay, and that's what a lot of people try and bring up and say.
I did bring it up. It's
you know,
there.
they try and say, oh well, what about the Donner cut? The Donner cut, for the most part, was done. It didn't really need millions of dollars of film
Are
in order
you
to.
sure?
Yes. They even said that what they used was a lot. They used a lot of screen test footage. They didn't have to reshoot or refilm anything
Yeah.
because Christopher Reeve was dead already.
Yeah, because it was Frankenstein. And guess what?
Right.
When you look at that film and you look at how Donner basically got booted out of the gig, he never got to put his vision out there.
Right.
So that's what the Donner cut is. And that's Justice League was what, 3 years ago?
Yeah,
You ain't even scratched the
yeah.
surface.
Wait, here, right.
2.5
But
to be fair, but yeah.
Did Warner Brothers not give their blessing to even release that?
Again, I'm not worried about Warner Brothers because at the end of the day, Warner probably does not want to spend the money. But if HBO is like, hey, here's some money to get this done, what's the problem? Get it done.
Well, I mean, I look at it this way. It would be interesting to see if it actually gets done and whether or not, I mean, obviously, we still have to prove whether or not Warner Brothers wants to put the money up for it. And even then, it's another thing I also consider when it comes to that is, who's to say that AT&T might come in and say, like, what y'all spending this extra money on this for or whatever. So
They don't have no say.
yeah, they are. They're the parent company.
I
So,
know they're the parent company, but they don't have no say in that because they don't really have a say on the making movies part.
It depends.
I'm
Well,
not-
it
If it's
depends.
gonna be,
Yeah.
I would say if it's gonna be under the umbrella of HBO, they wouldn't have a lot of control over that because if you're an avid HBO watcher like I am, tons of the programming on HBO shits on AT&T every single day, and they do not censor it. So AT&T is not gonna come in and be like, we don't want to do that. AT&T is gonna be like, make us more money. Okay, you're doing that. Okay, cool. They're not gonna put their hands in it.
Okay, that's going to be great, but what if they start losing money then? They're going to want to have something to say then.
I
And
don't
they've
think it's
already-
going to be a lose-win situation here. And this is me, again, thinking about it. If it's going on HBO, what are people going to do on HBO? They're going to click on the movie and watch it. They might watch all of it. They might watch some of it. But the fact that they click on the movie and watch it, AT&T makes money and wins. Warner Brothers makes money and wins. And HBO makes money and wins. So it doesn't matter at that point. It's who is gonna view it. People are gonna view it because it's on there.
To me, this is throwing money down the drain.
It's only 10 for them. It's $10 million. That's nothing in Hollywood.
Still throwing money down the drain.
It don't
Yeah.
I mean,
matter.
it's not. It's not.
Yeah,
It's just.
it
It's
is.
just the thing is that on what I'm looking at is the fact that it's like they are trying to reinvest more money into something that essentially didn't perform well at the box office. So it's like
Honestly, but the thing is, it's not a huge investment. Is how many people out there have actually been asking for it, and then on top of the people asking for it, how much does a subscription service for like HBO Max cost?
I mean, it's not much, but again,
just
like
give
the
me a
thing is,
number.
also
How
it's
much
just,
does it cost?
Okay, $10, $10 a month.
Okay,
It's more
so
than
if
that.
it's-
It's $14.99.
Maybe.
So it's $14.99. So
I don't know.
realistically,
So, like, I'm
they
just-
have to get a very low number of people to subscribe for in order to watch this thing to get their money back, and then it's going to end up coming out on Blu-ray at some time down the line. So they'll make their investment back easily.
I mean,
Easily.
they
And
more or
again,
less would have to
with
get
these-
like what,
with these
like
crazy
a million people?
petitions, with these crazy petitions that they have going on for it, I think that people would buy the subscription even if the movie isn't great. Even if it's just this, even if let's just say it's all a hoax and they end up putting the original movie on HBO Max and people
will
end
laugh.
up watching that,
I
the
will
fact
laugh.
of the matter is it's done its job and they're gonna make that money.
Exactly.
Because people are riding on this. It's not one day that I don't get on Twitter that I don't see something about the Snyder Cut. And the fact that Jason Momoa and Ray Fisher have
And
kind of
Ben
been like,
Affleck.
yeah, do it.
Yeah.
I think Snyder is yanking all y'all's chains. For
Yeah,
real.
well, I mean, again,
Because look, he's
I don't
already
think it's
turned
yank
this
from
into
my
a
chain.
movement, right? He's turned this into a movement where he's raising money for charity, which is great. I'm not going to knock him for that, because I mean, if you're going to use a lot of people, fervor for a product that is essentially vaporware, like what was that one system that never came? Well, it was one system that never came out, and it was like promised a long time ago. It was like everybody was waiting for it. I forget, it started with an O or something like that. I forget what it was called.
the Ouya came out.
Not the Ouya.
Not the Ouya. It was way back in the day. It was
I think I know. No, I'm thinking of New.
it was way back in the day. It was like in the 90s, and it was something like everybody said it was like going to be the baddest. It was going to be the baddest game system to ever come out, and that thing never ever materialized. But essentially, the Snyder Cut is almost like that. It's a cut of a film that doesn't really exist in fully watchable form, and Snyder has gotten these fans worked up into a tizzy so much that they are willing at the mere tweet of him doing something are willing to give him money. Or something like that.
Sounds like a built-in audience to me.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
Sounds like an
fans.
evangelist.
Exactly. Hey, again,
I mean,
evangelists
could-
make money, so
Like
does
that.
Hollywood.
yeah. So I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, so he's been stringing them along, and as soon as he finishes stringing them along, he knows the show's over, right? Because the man hasn't made a movie really in 3 years since Justice League was over.
So,
So I'm just saying,
Okay.
he hasn't made a movie in
Are
3
we
years.
gonna bring up somebody who hasn't made a movie and then got everybody interested in it, and it was a long ass movie, and they ended up getting all of this like fanfare about like.
Oh,
do I
you talking
need
about
to talk
Scorsese?
That old ass.
You talking about
Come on.
Scorsese? You talking about a legend? You gonna dare put him in the same breath
not
as Zack
even
Snyder?
just Scorsese, the same
He's
dude
a
that did.
director that
yeah.
didn't make a movie for a long time.
Or James
but
Cameron?
came back and made a movie. James
Yeah.
Cameron is another one.
Oh,
don't
well, Ridley
say-
Scott, I'm sorry.
Ridley Scott did it too. Yeah,
Again,
Prometheus sucked, though.
Snyder, don't get me wrong. Like I have issues with Snyder and stuff like that, but he still has enough cred to be like, people like the stuff that he did before, like these string of movies that we're talking about with DC. Like he has enough stuff that people are just like, he's a good director. He
You know
just
what I
should
would
be
like to
doing
see?
other things.
And Mr. Rigor Morris is over on YouTube, and he actually brings us a very good point. Best thing they could do for the lame Snyder Cut is make it a documentary like they did with that Lost Superman movie. I'd watch that.
I'll watch that too.
I'd watch that. I'd watch that for real.
You can do something like the Donna Cut. I'd be down.
Right, you
If
could do
that-
both.
If that's what they end up doing on HBO Max, again, people are gonna fucking watch it.
Exactly.
Yeah, they will.
Exactly. And
It's
plus,
going to get watched.
plus, he also said that Snyder's not good at what he does. I don't really agree with that. Snyder is a very, very good visual.
Very good
guy.
visual
Because
director.
if you look
I
at 300
agree.
and say that 300 wasn't good, then you can go ahead and leave.
You shouldn't be
I
talking
mean,
about
not at all.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's
I
not the
mean,
writer
I
of the
definitely agree
movies,
with
but
that.
people
It's
don't like the movies that people have their qualms with the Superman and Batman
Oh no, of
in
course.
Justice League
Yeah,
films,
the
which
treatment
I
of the characters
understand, but
definitely.
he's not a bad director.
Nah, because he did
yeah,
he
he's
did a
just
great
not the
job at
best
Watchmen too.
storyteller. He's just not the best storyteller because Watchmen was cool because again, you had a lot to pull from that. Uh, I guess what was it? The Dawn of the Dead remake for what it was decent.
I like the Dawn
And
of
like
the Dead
that.
remake.
and then
It's not like the original Dawn of the Dead,
also
the
course.
best.
then we also talked about 300 and Man of Steel or whatever. But
He's good at certain type of comic book movies. He's not
Yep.
good at the the ones that have been around forever. He's good
yeah.
at the ones that he can bring it to the state. He can bring it to the screen first
Mm-hmm.
and get
Like
people
yeah.
interested in it. But the stuff that has been around for a long time, people are kind of like, well, that's not what I envisioned because I know all of this information and I have, so
Right.
that's kind of what
Yeah.
it is.
See, the thing is with him is that like I wouldn't mind him directing the movie, but the thing is he needs like really good writers. Like he needs like a good writing room that can help filter his stuff out because it's like even the stuff that he does good, it's still like quite a few things that he was involved with where it was kind of like okay, this dude needed a filter and didn't get it. Like Sucker
He
Punch, the
I like
the
Sucker Punch.
second
yeah, Sucker Punch was
300,
fun.
uh
Well, hold on.
Suicide Squad he
Did he even do
partially
the
had
second
involved
300?
with.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, he didn't do
And
the second 300.
No, he wasn't the. Mm-mm.
well, no, but he supposedly wrote it. He supposedly wrote it and produced it.
Well, he
So-
didn't direct it though.
Right. So-
We're talking about his directing skills
Right.
because a lot of
No, he
directors
didn't.
I
try to
mean,
write
it's
and
a
can't
lot of
write.
stuff still ties into
didn't
that,
write-
but it's like
Didn't
again,
write
it's
that
like
either.
I'm sorry, what?
He didn't write three. He did not write Suicide Squad.
No. I didn't say he wrote it. I just said that he had partial involvement in it.
Oh, well.
Like,
They were
like I'm
using-
saying, like apparently it's like the
that
only
was-
thing he supposedly
that was-
directed was
he
the
was-
Flash
That was
cameo
during
scene.
that was
but-
during that time they were
yeah.
trying to make him their Kevin Feige. He is
Right.
not
And
that.
boy, that
he,
was-
he is
Yeah,
not
he
that.
was
Boy, that was-
without a
on,
doubt.
That was a failure.
But
Suicide Squad.
he, like I said, his directing style and his in the types of shots he puts on screen are. I can't argue with a lot of them. They look really good for what they are.
Yeah,
he is
they do.
he is an amazing director. If he has a storyboard that he can basically follow.
I will say this, and we got to move on, but I kind of hope it does come out because I'm so tired of hearing about it. Like I really am. It's like it's like the cat that came back the very next day.
It's good.
Please, please. I'll put money in Vegas on for that movie not, redeeming the Snyder version of Justice League. It's just not gonna be good. Because you know what, we'll end up spending a whole
I'll
bunch
say
more money.
this,
I'm not
if
gonna
it
do
comes
it.
If it comes out, the actors that rode for it, I hope at least the reason they're riding for it is because they have better and extended parts in it.
That probably is one of the only reasons. All right, y'all, we got to move on. Next topic, please.
This week in gaming.
Yay!
All right, y'all. So that was This Week in Gaming. A lot of really great games came out this week, including, I know Yin's absolute favorite, the Mass Effect series, Mass Effect 3, was one of the games this week. A special note that I have to say, an oversight slightly on my part, was that this week also came out the Nintendo Switch, which the great Adakuji is currently engrossed in playing right now, and The Legend of Zelda. Breath of the Wild came out this week. So what was like some of the games that came out this weekend this week that you feel like one game that I know your ass played probably was Def Jam Icon.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so
He said absolutely.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry that you had to endure that.
What?
Icon was garbage, man.
No, I mean, well,
Yeah.
I mean the whole series.
Def
That
Jam
first
was
one.
great.
Yeah.
Icon was garbage. Icon was like,
The first one was good. Fight
yeah.
for New York was awesome.
Yep.
Icon was straight dumpster fire.
Yeah, Icon was like, we're gonna have the beat affect your whole background and stuff. I'm
dude,
like,
like when they were doing the and it was like, what?
Yeah.
I was like,
That
I
was
never
the
played it, so I'm
concept
like,
that
what the
worked
hell was
on
that?
paper.
They was trying to be innovative and they fell flat.
they fell real flat because Fight for New York was a perfect game.
Okay.
That game was perfect. Like the amount of people they had in that game was insane. And like the amount of like, you know, artists that they got to sign on and do voice work and all that was just crazy. It was like, okay, this is amazing. But the best game on that whole list to me was Ninja Gaiden. for the
Indeed,
original
Ninja
Xbox.
Gaiden. Dude, that thing was difficult just for the sake of being difficult.
And then they came out with Ninja Gaiden Black and made it
Made it
harder.
harder. Oh.
They're like, oh, y'all gonna complain. We're just gonna kill you then.
Right.
Here you go.
And then they came out with Ninja Gaiden Sigma and made it easier.
Well, Sigma was too easy.
Yeah.
Sigma was a walk in the park. Because one of my favorite parts of the original Ninja Gaiden on the Xbox was that pyramid, where like you were trying to get up that pyramid, and they were sending like wave after wave after wave of just ninjas, and they were getting harder and harder and harder to fight. And the system got to the point where it was just like, yeah, we got about 20 enemies on screen, and I'm hurting. You better kill some people off so you can keep moving. And then Sigma was like, oh, we're just gonna send a little trickle down because you know. Even though we're a more powerful system, we're just gonna send a couple of enemies. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me?
Yeah.
This is crazy.
I had to say I was the weak sauce that beat Sigma because I didn't have an Xbox back when that first came out, so I didn't buy Ninja Gaiden, and I didn't get Ninja Gaiden Black, even though if I find it out in the wild, I'm picking it up because it is backwards compatible with the
I still have
Xbox
it.
One.
Was that
still
the
have
wait,
it.
I think I got that one.
No, the original Xbox.
Oh, so what's the one that
Yeah,
came
I
out?
didn't have
What's
it.
one
From original-
360?
360
That
was Ninja
was-
Gaiden Black.
Yeah, no, 360
Ninja
was
Gaiden Black
Ninja
was
Gaiden 2.
Yeah, Ninja Gaiden 2
Okay.
was
And Ninja
360.
Gaiden
Yeah.
2
So I got
was
three.
that
I
deal.
think I got three. The three that came
Three
out.
was,
And,
three
was
what I hear
easy.
is very
Yeah, 3
easy.
was easy. back
Okay,
then.
yeah, I
But it
forgot. That's
said-
when I got his free on Xbox Live
Yeah.
at one point.
They
Yeah.
said 2 was freaking that deal,
Nah.
though, and I got 2, so
Right.
I
It was
can-
fun.
Now,
Should I
honestly,
play
another
that?
game that came out this week that was great, especially to me, I loved it, was the Tomb Raider remake. When it first came out, I thought
Very
that thing
good
was,
game.
Oh, yeah,
was
it's really
Love
good.
that game.
I
Very
actually
good.
started
I mean,
playing it, and I enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's another
So
game I
fun.
got to
Dude,
finish.
So
it was
fun.
so good because it was
Yeah.
like, you know, it turned and they literally took that Alicia Vikander movie and it's like they just took the game and pretty much just put it on film.
Basically.
you know, I mean, yeah, they changed a few things, but
A few things.
they just changed a few things.
Which prompted me
A
not to go
lot of
see the movie because it was
Right.
like, okay, I know this story
Yeah.
already.
Yeah, I never saw the movie, and I didn't play the game, and that was the reason why I didn't want to watch the movies because I didn't play the game. I want to play the game and then watch the movie.
Like,
The movie and the game are two completely
Yeah.
different.
They
Oh,
are
I
two
believe it is
complete things,
because
yes.
we already know how. Who was I talking to? We were watching. It was like literally the exact same thing that was in either it was a comic book or a movie or something like that.
Probably
Oh,
Resident
video
Evil.
game. No, it wasn't Resident Evil. It was something I can't remember what it came out recently, and it was like people were bored watching it because it was literally the exact same thing. And I was like, that's why they change up the movies because if you are a gamer and you play a video game and the same thing you watch, you just sit there like, damn, this is boring. Why would I watch this movie?
Exactly.
So I get
Well,
why they
yeah.
change the stuff. They just got to make it exciting. Like
Yeah.
Silent Hill, they changed some things around, and they did.
Silent
good.
Hill was sneaky. Oh,
Yeah.
was sneaky pretty good.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like,
Yeah.
and I mean, speaking of
Fuck
Tomb
that
Raider, it's
game.
like, say what you want about the Angelina Jolie ones, but at least they were original stories.
Yeah.
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 And they were somewhat
I still
entertaining
like
in
those
some ways.
movies. Those
Yeah,
movies
they,
are
they,
I
they,
ain't seen
they
the
were
movie.
they were just fun.
Yeah.
That was the whole
Yeah,
point.
they
It
were
was
very
a-
fun movies.
Yeah.
So, but to only add to like one game that I enjoyed, I'm probably going to be the only one to say this, but The Bouncer.
Oh, that game was dope. I love that game.
Garbage.
I don't know why I love
Sorry,
that game.
That's
Garbage.
the thing. I don't understand why it's
Sorry,
garbage.
I love
It
it.
had good
Sorry.
controls. It looked really
It
good.
had good
especially-
controls.
Yeah, it played
game
like
was fun.
Tobal. It played like Tobal, but better, dude. It is. I don't think it played like garbage.
Here's the thing:
I like
the bouncer fell victim to too much hype on the tech demo. Because
Exactly.
the demo made it seem like you was about to be busting tables and fighting on multi-levels,
Yeah.
throwing people over the edge and jumping down.
You
And then
just
you get to
gave
the
me,
actual
like, what the
game,
fuck
it's just
is
like,
this?
like what happened to half of the stuff y'all showed in this
Right.
demo, in this trailer? So I think that's what the bouncer kind of failed on. What's up to John P and Seth Jr. over there
So,
in the YouTube chat?
Which one was it? Okay, so Zone of Enders, which one was Zone of Enders? Did Zone of Enders have the bouncer demo, or was it the other way around where it was
Wasn't Bouncer
the
a launch
bouncer
game?
had
Bouncer was almost a launch
Bouncer
title.
was
No.
like a launch game, I believe, dude. So in the U.S.
Zone of
at least.
Enders would have been a Metal Gear related thing.
Yeah,
Hmm.
because
And it was
that's
Metal- I think
Konami
it
all
was Metal
that
Gear-
was
I think it was
Konami
Metal Gear
all
that had
day.
the Zone of Enders
So
demo.
Yeah, Square was Bouncer.
Yeah.
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 And
Yeah.
Dream Factory and Square, the same people that put out Tobal and Tobal 2.
Shot themselves.
Yeah.
in the
That
foot.
doesn't mean anything to me.
It wasn't-
Like that,
it
the
wasn't-
bouncer was terrible.
It was not a terrible game. I guarantee you go back and play it. It's not as
Yeah.
bad as you.
No.
it was.
You
game-
remember.
It was
guarantee
not
it's
the
as
only
bad
thing
as
I
I
would
think.
say.
I guarantee
the
it's as bad as I think.
I don't
The
think
only
it was
thing
bad at
I
all.
say is that there's some parts of the game that are frustrating, but overall, I've had
yeah.
fun playing with it.
And it
Exactly.
should have
I
been
enjoyed it.
two-player. I just don't.
Yeah, well, I think that was a system limitation thing.
Yeah.
Like literally trying. No,
Yeah.
not limitation in that regard. Because remember, it's a launch title, so they still learning the architecture of the
Right.
system.
Dude,
Think
I
about
still
it.
Now,
think
look,
they could have
They,
done it.
Final Fight was the same problem.
Yeah.
They could have made Final Fight 2-player now on, basically knowing what they know about the Super Nintendo. They can easily make that a 2-player game now versus
They should
back
have been able to
then.
make it a two-player game back then.
I get you, but at the same time, launch the game, launch window. They were like, "Hey, we need something out like right when the system drops." And Final Fight was one of them
Hey, look,
things.
now, if they were to redo the bouncer now, like they're doing the Final Fantasy VII game, okay, yeah, you might have something.
No. It doesn't. Let's not get out of control now. Final
Nah.
Fantasy VII needs all the developers, and all the artists, and all the whatever you can throw at it because that game needs to stay on track and on schedule. Because I'd be damned if I get this damn Final Fantasy VII and run through that first disc. And then be like, oh yeah, part 2 comes out in 2025. I'll be like,
Right, do something.
I'm done.
That's what I'm talking about. I want to wait. Now, I want more info before I drop down $60.
Well,
on-
here's the other
on,
thing.
what you call
Here's
it.
the other crazy thing. Is this going to be a cross-platform remake? Because we about to get new systems at the end of the year.
I heard that they weren't going to do that. I heard that Square wasn't going to do that. But if
They're not?
That's what I hear.
That's gonna
And
be
also,
weird.
but if they're backwards compatible, the
It
thing
won't
is-
matter, right?
Yeah,
It
if
won't.
they're
It won't matter.
backwards
Yeah, it
Supposedly-
won't matter.
But it's
All
going
right,
to
Supposedly
before
that
we
the,
get too much
oh,
into
sorry.
that, talking about the.
Oh, go ahead with your Mass Effect. I know.
Oh yeah, I
Go
know.
ahead,
Yeah,
girl.
she wants to make sure she get her
You
time for her
These,
Mass
these
Effect.
next couple of minutes are all you. Have at it.
Before y'all get too far, I'm just saying. I remember the day I received that copy. Picture it.
Wow.
She over there sounded like Sealy. No, she sounded like Sophia. She sounded like Sophia.
Yeah.
Picture it. Where was you at? Vegas?
No, picture it. Honduras.
Oh,
2012.
damn.
Yeah, she was in Honduras.
Okay.
Oh, international with it. Okay.
I went to the post office to get my package for the day. I already knew what it was because I pre-ordered.
Where did that
So-
Southern drawl come from all of a sudden?
She
Go
went back
ahead.
home. That's what
No.
happened.
Right. Go ahead.
I got off work. I went and popped it on in the good old Sunny. That's my PlayStation, or not my PlayStation, my Xbox 360. Popped it on in Sunny and got to playing. I knew exactly where I was gonna start from because the night before, what was I doing? Playing Mass Effect 2.
Man,
So
she
I was ready.
Binge playing.
And what did I do that entire weekend?
Mass Effect.
Which also, March 6th happens to be both of my grandmother's birthdays. So it's an
Oh,
amazing
wow.
day.
So you missed
Oh.
both her birthdays, didn't you?
Oh, I was about to say, yeah, she missed both of them birthdays. I'm like, no, I gotta
No,
play
I
Mass Effect.
didn't. I
gotta
didn't.
play
I
Mass
was
Effect.
responsible.
Okay.
to
Hold
call
on.
them
I
early
love you,
in the
Nana.
day.
Hold on. But did you have the money ready to buy your
What?
ending?
Yeah.
I'm just
What
saying.
the hell?
Did-
Quiet, didn't it?
Oh.
Look,
I'm just asking. Did you have the money ready to buy
Let
it?
me
Because I know
tell
you
you.
be flying through them games. So did you
I'm
have the
real-
$14 or
I'm
$15 it took to buy that ending?
I'm gonna be real honest, real quick right now. It was a couple of playthroughs because one, I was like, no, I ain't buying this. I'm gonna achieve this ending. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm gonna achieve this ending. So it took me a couple of playthroughs to get through the ending that I wanted to. Eventually, I did get some DLCs and all that kind of stuff. But my original, I'm not going to even sit here in front like my original playthrough was amazing because it was bad,
100%.
and
Oh yeah.
Did you
my
get
whole
100%?
crew died, and it was bad.
Wait, say that
Your
last
whole
part
crew
again.
Her
died.
whole crew in Mass
Not my
Effect
whole
3
crew,
died.
not my whole crew, but most of the people in the crew. Which, if y'all haven't played the game, you can kill your whole crew, or all of them can survive. That's in anything in between.
Depends on how many
It was a
Twinkies they
sad
bring.
ending, huh?
Depends on how many Twinkies
The only
they
one I
bring.
killed, the only one I killed was Ashley, man, and she deserved that shit.
Damn, that's
She did.
brutal.
Well, see,
She deserved that shit.
That was
see, you
cold-blooded,
you
dude.
ain't
Just a little
played
bit.
you ain't played
I don't
through
need to. I have
then,
Knights of the Old Republic.
Who?
because
Touche.
there's several times where you got to make hard decisions about your characters in Mass Effect.
Well,
Shit.
I mean, I made hard
Ashley was
decisions in
a
the
fucking-
Walking Dead
Yeah.
game too. I mean,
Yo, yeah, Ashley was
Yeah,
a
that's
fucking
another
xenophobe,
one.
dude.
That's
I had
another
to
one.
kill her, man. I was like, nah, yeah, she was a xenophobe. I can't get down like that. I had to kill her.
You was messing with Ashley. You was with
Yeah, I
Caden.
had- Well, see, it's the first thing, right? Ashley was the romance that I had in Mass Effect 1. And then
That was your first mistake.
Yeah, see, you probably right. Then Mass Effect 2 was all about Liara. And then carried that over to Mass Effect 3. And then when Ashley's turned up and she was trying to be a xenophobe, I was like, nah, bitch, you out.
So you have
Bye.
no loyalty then.
Yeah.
That's basically what your problem is.
Hey, love them or leave them, whatever. Yeah, I don't know
I
what to say.
mean, Ashley showed you who she was in the first one. I don't see why you
I
was
guess
confused.
I didn't pick up on it in the first one. I guess I didn't
Well,
pick up on it in the first
you
one.
was a big fan of
Yeah.
Danae Stormborn too, and you ain't see how crazy her ass was.
Oh,
either, so,
wow.
yeah,
Okay, wow. She's going to go there.
You
Okay.
be missing them
moving
signs.
right
You be
along.
Before
missing
y'all
them
go too far,
signs.
real quick, the last game on that list was Fatal Fury 2.
Hey, the
Great.
Which
Fun
actually
game. Fun fighting game.
Is way more known for its anime counterpart.
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
Wolfgang Krauser.
Of
The
course.
dub for Wolfgang Krauser
I'm-
is awesome.
I'm not gonna lie. That anime made me go and play the game at that
Yeah.
point, and it was just like, dude, like I love this series. I just
He
do.
was like,
Sure.
I
"Hey,
used
And
to
it
play
was-
the hell out of that game
I'm
at the
just a
freaking. It was
drunk.
a party store near my cousin's house, and we would take my aunt's bottles and cans. She'd get so mad at us and trade them until we could play the freaking game up there. And that everybody
kid's
wanted to play
name?
with Kim
Kim
Capone.
Capone, that was my guy.
That was
Capone.
my dude. What was the kid's name in the anime?
which kid?
The kid.
Tony.
I mean, it was Terry
Tony.
and it was
Tony.
Tony.
Tony. That was
Tony.
the first anime. That was
What
he
the
wasn't in the second
Tony?
one.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Tony was in the
Go
second one.
home, damn it!
Yeah, that was
Dude.
All right, hold on.
I'm sorry.
Let me break
You know,
this down for
it's
Dado
funny
real quick.
because
Let me
as I
break this
got
down for Dado
older,
real quick. Yeah,
as
go
I got
ahead.
older, like that scene when he was getting his ass whooped by Axel Hawk's trainer, like it's
Yeah.
funny to me now.
Okay, what's his name? Andy had blue hair in the first one.
Yeah.
remember?
Oh yeah, you're right. Okay.
Yeah,
so
he
was in-
did.
Tony was in the second.
Yeah, he
Tony-
did.
Tony became a drunk within the span of 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Man, I'm like, dude, seriously?
He's like, I'm a drunk.
But my man Krauser
He-
was so
Boy, he
smooth.
took that
He
L
was awesome.
hard.
My man snuck up on him quick as all get
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
Big, with all that armor,
Yeah.
was like, I enjoyed your fight there,
No.
Terry, but had you used your legs?
Oh, dude, and when you
Oh,
told, when
dude.
you told Joe
The best thing about him,
when
like
you told
analyzing his
Joe
entire
straight
fight,
up,
like
he was like,
dude.
Joe, once again, you're being too
You
loud.
be fine.
Quietly, bro.
Right.
Not quite, please. So I should have to ask
when
you
he,
to
when
leave.
Terry did his
I'm
move,
like,
he's, oh, like this? He
Yeah.
figured his
He was
move
calculating,
out
he was
before he even did it. Like, it was.
Yeah.
Right away.
Yeah.
No, the best was Terry thought he was gonna blow his chest out with that burned knuckle. He just
Sure
like,
did.
He was just like,
That fire went out. I was like,
like,
oh.
It's like,
Yeah.
Yo, shout out
Dude,
to.
I gotta watch that again.
I do.
Yeah, yeah, I
shout
gotta
out,
watch
shout
that
out to
again.
anybody who ever threw the cap off in the air and posed like Terry Bogard.
Okay.
Okay.
oh, I ain't gonna lie. I've done it a couple
okay.
times.
No,
I ain't gonna
the
lie.
best
I ain't
scene-
gonna front.
When Andy was fighting Lawrence Blood.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like, strong.
Too strong.
heck yeah.
Andy called his ass with a 3-piece, and that was it.
Every time y'all gotta
All right,
move
yeah,
on.
we gotta
Three
move
special
on.
moves in succession.
Speaking of classic games, move on to the next segment. Hit it, Shorty.
For the culture.
All right, so the great analogy.
For the culture.
Deja vu. That means the Matrix just changed something.
The great fan, the great Dadakuji is a great fan of.
Great fan. No, don't you mean the guru for this particular game.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would
okay.
say I'm a guru,
Well,
but
I
I
don't
don't
know,
really
man.
like it.
So Streets of Rage 4 is getting ready to drop very soon, I believe, right? Obviously, even though it's a game that he's been waiting for forever, he still ain't gonna buy it day one.
Yeah, I am.
You have to. What is
That's
wrong
gonna
with
that's gonna be your one purchase of the year.
Because I
don't know.
See,
Now,
what I
see,
mean?
the-
Now,
here's-
he already walked.
Here's where I'm not walking backwards. Here's the thing. My thing is right now. As some of you may know, this right here is. I love this thing. This right here is what I call the Steam of consoles because there is so many freaking games that is on here. You get Nintendo's games. You get. It's just so many of them, right? Now, my big issue is that I'm fighting with myself. Do I go digital? Because when you have one of these things and you put the stuff on here with the digital stuff, you don't have to worry about swapping out stuff. But my old school brain still wants a digital copy. Like this right here is Blazing Chrome.
Physical copy.
Physical copy. Excuse me. You're right. I've been up since 4 in the morning. Sometimes I don't get my
I
words
understand.
wrong.
No, question though, digital copies. What's the limitation on size, or is
It
you put-
depends
you put
on
a-
whatever SD card you put
So
in
you
here.
can get a super expensive SD card.
Yeah, and
do
then you
your
can
thing.
put all that stuff on
Okay,
there.
see,
And that's the
fair.
thing is that I like the idea of having a physical copy. So if day one a physical copy comes out, I'm probably gonna get it
Okay, but why?
because I want a physical. I mean, I want to play
No,
Streets of Rage.
I guess what I'm saying is like the topic is about Streets of Rage.
It's about Streets of Rage 4. That's
so
what I'm saying.
so why? would you
Because
want-
okay, all right. Let's see. Going back to a long time ago in a land far, far away, there was a system called the Sega Genesis, and we got Streets of Rage 1, 2, and 3. All right, Streets of Rage 1, 2, and 3 came out. The last one, Streets of Rage 3, came out in '94, if I remember correctly. It might have been '95, but I
I don't
believe
know,
it was
but did you
94.
do a video about Streets of Rage 2 and 3?
you did.
I sure did.
Okay.
And 3 is better than 2. I don't care what none of y'all MFers out there say. 2 is great. Don't get me wrong. The music is better. But 3's gameplay is a hell of a lot better. They just all that stuff.
Well, make
You
sure-
can go watch the
2
video
is
on our
the GOAT, sir.
Dude, on what?
2 is the GOAT.
How's it go? How's it go? How's it go?
Here we go.
No.
2
Seriously,
is the GOAT,
how's
sir.
it go?
I am sorry.
No.
In
So
30
you're making,
seconds.
you
in
make
30
yeah.
seconds. How is it?
You making blame is how's it to go? You could do so much
Listen,
more in 3
listen.
than you can in 2.
Let him speak. Let him speak.
Okay, that's fine. But aside from the music, you also had a very interesting character selection between Max and Skate. And Skate was a fan favorite in my hood because we had people. We had a character that looked like us.
That's cool and dandy. but
We
there's
didn't have
black-
that in the third.
There's black people. What are you talking about? There's black people in every Streets of Rage. You had Adam in the first one, Skate in the second one, and Skate was in the third one, dude. I hope you didn't forget.
Where?
What do you mean where? Skate was in the third one. It was Skate,
What's it?
Axel,
Hang
Blaze,
on.
and Dr. Zan. Don't get me wrong. Special character was Rue and fucking Shiva. And if you had the Japanese one, you could freaking do. The
Okay, so
freaking-
maybe Dr.
Yeah,
Zan,
yeah.
I remember he was in it. I don't.
Now this is
It's
why
like
you're
you
the
could
guru.
light a fair.
Right.
3 was way better.
This
The
is why
gameplay was
you're
better.
the guru.
Skate was the only one that could run in part 2. Everybody could run in part 3. All the weapons had special moves. Every character not only had their special moves, but they had special moves on top of special moves. You had multiple fucking paths, not one, multiple endings. You can't tell me that 2 was better, because 2 was linear, straight. That was all.
Okay, that's
Hold on.
fine.
2
Wait.
had
And that's
music.
fine.
It was
Strike
great,
knowledge,
bro.
Okay.
But wait,
Okay, take a couple breaths now. Take a breath now.
Did 3 have the cop car that will pull up? and
No,
fire
that
a
was
bazooka?
1.
That was 1?
Yeah.
Holy crap.
That was part 1.
Okay.
Or if you get the special or the remake that's on PC, you could get that in there as
Okay.
well. But that one right there was probably the best one because it took everything from 1, 2, and 3, all the crap that was bad about it, and just got rid of that and made that one the better. So it had the special weapons with the special moves and the special weapons with the weapons, the actual weapons, and each person had different special moves depending on what weapon that they had. You had the original colors because people was like, oh my gosh, they changed their clothes. I don't like it.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, motherfuckers is funky, so they had to change their clothes, all right? So what's the problem with that? And
Logic is real.
you know, and it still had the multiple whatchamacallits, but Streets of Rage 4 is coming out. And I'm looking forward to it because, again, it's been over 20 years.
When does it come out, first of all?
It's supposed to be coming out in April. According to this, it just says 2020. And I heard it was
be
supposed
April 1st.
I hope it's not April
Is
1st.
that gonna be
but-
digital or physical?
and that's the thing is I don't know.
Shit.
I haven't heard any reports.
they
I mean,
got-
if it's
they got-
digital, I'm probably still going to get
They
it.
got a month to go. They need to announce something.
Yeah, I know, but I really want it. But it's going to be 4 players for the first time ever. They're bringing back Adam.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're bringing back Adam. Adam has not been playable since part 1.
What he's been doing in life.
Well, he got kidnapped in part 2, and they were saving
remember
him. And in part 3,
Well,
I think he was off doing some other stuff.
Oh,
Part 3,
okay.
he opened up a.
Yeah, part
barber-
3, he
opened
he
up a
was
rib
like
joint.
Nick Fury.
Yeah.
Come up with a rib joint.
Yeah, you opened up a rib joint.
Adam's
Adam's
okay.
ribs.
barbecue and foot massage.
Come on, Adam's rib. Come on.
Wow.
But
like that.
but 4, it's been a while. The only thing that I wish they would have done, I think they should have done pixel art instead of the hand drawn stuff. I mean, I think that's cool because it's probably what we would have got on the Sega Saturn had they did something like that. But I'm looking forward to it because I like beat 'em up games. Streets of Rage, in my honest opinion, the series as a whole, I think is probably the best beat 'em up game. And it's debatable because some people think Turtles in Time. And Turtles in Time is a great game.
As a single game, Turtles in Time is great.
Yeah.
But as a
It's-
series, Streets of Rage is probably it.
Oh yeah.
Mr. Rigor Mortis over there on YouTube agrees with you as far as Streets of Rage 3 goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and not a lot of people do it. I just do not understand. If you play the
it's
game,
because
and
of
I'm
the
not
music.
saying 2 is bad.
It's because of the music.
Yeah.
It's
Two's
strictly
Well,
because of the music.
Honestly,
Two's music
between
is
that, for
amazing.
me, besides the music, I didn't really care too much for some of the stage design. To be honest, I thought the stage design in the second game were much more compelling.
Okay.
And
So-
that may be, and that's a valid point. But for me, when I play a game, I'm looking at top to bottom of all this stuff, and I enjoy 2 immensely. Don't get me wrong, but when you take it and you improve it, which I 100% fully think that 3 improved on every aspect, and all the complaints I hear is like, oh, it's harder than 2, and I'm like, harder? Quit being a. Okay, I don't want to say. I don't want to use those epithets.
Even
3
the
is
second
harder,
one
but if
was challenging.
Yeah, it was
People
challenging,
complained
but-
about it being hard.
Yeah, they complained 3 was too hard. That's one of the things that they like 2 more.
Now
'cause it's too hard.
here's the one take I have on Streets of Rage.
First I've ever heard of it.
Because Streets of Rage was exclusive to the Genesis, basically, right? Never had an
Yes, it
arcade
was.
release, nothing like
They
that.
had an arcade release of the original game, but it was basically just the Genesis one.
So I think part of, and again, it's not knocking the series at all because I think obviously it's a great beat 'em up series, which I'm going to call them bumps, but it's a great series. But I think the reason that series endures and has been so beloved is it never had anything else to measure up to in the sense of Final Fight had an arcade version. Everybody had a down conversion when they played it versus until you finally got around to them releasing the actual arcade versions.
But
Later.
they
on.
also had 2 and 3 of Final Fight.
I don't know, but those were
No one really
those
remembers
were
those.
I don't remember. I didn't know they had.
I played
I
them,
remember
but they
2
just didn't
only from
stand
Maki.
out.
Yeah, they didn't
remember
stand out.
I can remember
Yeah.
2 from Maki, and that's
Yeah.
it.
Right, and then Turtles in Time, and in Turtles, the original Turtles, you never really got the true arcade experience with those at home either.
Right.
Turtles in Time was pretty close on Super Nintendo, 2-player, not 4, but
Right.
I think part of why Streets of Rage is just it works is because it was an original. It never had anything. It was like, look, here's the game, here's everything. We're throwing it all into it because we don't have to try to downplay or leave anything out. It's like we can put everything in it because this is the version you get, and I think that's why that series kind of worked.
So-
because every other beat 'em up came from the arcade,
Right.
and then weaker systems couldn't handle what you were
Exactly.
trying to play.
So if we're calling Streets of Rage the big dog of fighting beat 'em ups, right? So you had alluded to there's a lot of underground or lesser known beat 'em up games that a lot of people may not be playing. What are some of those?
Well, on the Switch, 99 Vitas is okay, but I don't think that's even in the top tier of the stuff.
And
But
99 Vitas is on what?
it's on PlayStation 4. I think it's on Xbox One. I'm not 100% sure because I rarely turn that thing on. And it's on the Switch. I recently got it because it was 99 cents and I had 99 credits and I was able to get it pretty easy. But they also gave it away for free on PlayStation. I got it on PlayStation. But there's a game that GQ and I were playing the other day called Mother Russia with Love. Or no, what is it called? God darn it! Why is it in my head?
It was I remember the game, that zombie Russian game.
Yeah,
That
it
game was
like
fun, man.
Yeah, that game was pretty fun. I believe that one's probably three or four players. There's this one that's really amazing that I downloaded for Steam. It's also out on.
There's a lot of them on Steam, isn't it?
Oh, there's tons on Steam, but this one's called Fight and Rage or Rage and Fight. I always get it mixed up which one.
It was Fight and Rage.
Fight and Rage. Now
I
that
have it on
game,
Steam.
That game I bought for Steam because I had my Switch at the time.
I remember playing that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I brought it over
Definitely
there.
a spiritual successor.
That
Definitely.
game is flipping amazing, and I wanted it on the Switch. I searched left and right. Is it coming out of Switch? Coming out of Switch? Like, no, it's not coming out of Switch because Nintendo won't give them a developer's kit. I'm like, oh, okay. Let me buy it on Steam. Later on last year, because I bought it last year. Later on that year, it came out on Switch. I was like, these rat motherfuckers, because I wanted it on Switch.
That's
Now,
how it is, man.
I'm probably still going to get it on the Switch if and when it goes on sale. I'm just watching for it to go on sale. If it goes on sale, because it's $20 now. I paid $20 still. I'm not paying $20 again. If it goes on sale, or if they come out with a limited run physical copy, I'll get it in a heartbeat.
Waffles is on Twitch. He said Ninja Warriors.
Ninja Warriors is also a pretty good, or Ninja Saviors, I think is also called. The new one, there's a new one for the Switch and PlayStation 4, where they basically took the Super Nintendo one and just made it HD and added more characters and more stages and whatnot. I've been sitting on the fence of buying that one digital versus physical because they got physical copies over in Asia that I kind of want to get. But that's a different kind of beat 'em up because I believe it's only one player. You can correct me if I'm wrong. And one player beat 'em ups to me, though they're still fun, it's more fun playing with friends.
Like Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah, Scott Pilgrim.
Scott
Yeah.
Pilgrim was
Well,
one
Scott
of
Pilgrim's
my
another
all-time favorites.
It's in my top 5.
Yeah.
Look,
Yeah.
okay, people out there in the Junkie Nation, check out our YouTube, because we don't just do our live show. We have some pre-produced stuff and more to come. But I have my top 5 beat 'em up games on there, and I'll drop a link in the chats if you want me to. No, in fact, I think you should just go to our YouTube, and if you haven't subscribed, you should subscribe
You
and
absolutely
check
should.
that stuff out. But I have my top 5 all time of my favorite top 5 beat 'em up games on there. You search for it, you'll find it. And Scott Pilgrim is definitely in there because it's an amazing game.
It is
I mean,
amazing.
All right.
The music,
All right,
the
quick
music
que-
alone was incredible.
yeah.
Well, quick question. Since we're still in the same vein of beat 'em ups in Sega, what did we think about Golden Axe as a series?
I think Golden Axe is
I love
great.
Golden Axe.
I'm a little bit upset that I found out later in life that they came out with a Golden Axe exclusive that never came home that should have been on the Sega Saturn.
Is that the one that came in over in Japan?
No,
right?
no, that was Golden Axe 3. Golden Axe 3 never came out in the United States, but it came out in the Genesis or the Mega Drive in Japan. I'm not sure about in Europe. But there is one that came out specifically just for the arcade. Never came out to a home system. And if you play the game, you'd be like, wow, the Sega Saturn could have done this game. And they didn't put it out on the Saturn. I'm like, I just wish I could go back in time and smack the shit out of whoever was running Sega back then. I swear to goodness, man.
Could we have convinced them not to make the Saturn? Or at
Oh,
least-
they made
not
they
the
made
Saturn.
a lot.
No,
of
I would
those.
have still called it the Saturn.
Yeah.
But what I would have done, I talked to you about this
Yeah.
because if anybody knows the story, Sony and Nintendo were going to make the PlayStation. It fell apart. Sony went to Sega next. And if I was sitting there, I was like, oh, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Oh yeah, let's see what we can do. Let's see what we can do. The idiot of the Sega Japan, the president was like, Sony, they don't know how to make video games. You guys need. I was like, you are stupid.
It's like the worst part
Weren't
is
they-
Sony is one of the biggest electronics companies in
In the
Japan.
world.
Yeah.
In Japan though.
Yeah.
So it's like they're coming to you and like, hey, let's work together. Are you crazy?
Yes, you should have took that opportunity.
that's like the same way we-
Sega
I
would
think
not
so.
be dead right now if that had happened.
I think I think something else I remember reading before was they were supposed to partner up with some type of tech company to build a console, and they turned it down. They wound up going with Nintendo and made the 64.
No, Nintendo went with Philips and made that crappy. No, Nintendo didn't go with Philips. Nintendo licensed some of their stuff to Philips and that crappy CDI. Because Silicon Graphics was the powerhouse behind the N64.
Rigor Mortis is
Okay.
like, drop a link over.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll drop the link in there.
Okay.
And then he also brought up Super Double Dragon.
Yeah.
which
And
was also
then
a
Super
lot of
Double
fun.
Dragon was a lot of fun.
That was also fun. I mean, there was so many beat 'em up games. We could
My
probably
favorite-
do a show all about them.
Nick Fury and Punisher.
Oh hell yeah,
Oh,
Punisher!
the
was that
Punisher?
deal.
Oh, the
And
Punisher
did you know that
game?
came
Oh
out on
yeah,
Genesis?
yeah, that
Yeah,
was
it came-
yeah, that game was
it
badass.
versus
But the arcade version
Oh,
is
yeah.
at my house right now.
Yeah, that's
I'm
probably
used to the arcade version of that game because I played it when I was
Well, no,
in
the
Vegas
Genesis
as a
was
kid.
they tried.
They
but
tried.
That arcade
The Genesis
version was,
port
Well, the
wasn't
Genesis
bad,
is
but
not-
it was
come on,
watered
Yeah,
down
it wasn't
compared to
gonna
the
be
arcade
that.
version.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, well, go ahead.
Yeah.
I'll let y'all.
All right, so we got to go ahead and move on to the next topic.
Yep.
For the culture.
All right.
Matrix is stuck.
Yeah, we're on topic.
Topic
We're on
5.
topic 5. So topic 5 is we're going to talk about Star Wars. So I mean, what can we say about Star Wars? Star Wars is in the news last week, and we did get to cover it because the High Republic was announced as the next new initiative for Star Wars movies and or TV. But also, GQ was going to bring up something that's getting ready to come out concerning the Skywalker saga that's coming out later this month, I think.
Yeah, at the end of this month, you've got what I'm going to basically put down as the almost definitive collection of Star Wars. It's actually the Skywalker saga. It's going to be a 27-disc, $250 4K Blu-ray and Blu-ray bonus features version of Star Wars. So basically, it's all 9 movies, 4K releases, which is, for me is enough for price of entry.
Because this is the first time it's going to be on 4K, right?
Well, first time for 1 through 6, basically. 1 through 6 is on 4K on the Disney Plus app, but you know me, physical trumps digital all day, every day. So getting them on disc 4K is great. Now, here's the problem. The reason I say it's the almost definitive edition is I know for a fact I am probably going to have to live with McClunky, and I'm going to have to live with what, didn't he say McClunky or something like that? In whatchamacallit? In the new version.
Oh, you're talking about Greedo.
Yeah, Greedo. I'm gonna have to live with that. I'm gonna have to deal with Ewoks blinking. I'm gonna have to deal with Han and Greedo actually having a shootout instead of Han shooting.
Right.
I'm gonna have to deal with just little extra stuff that I didn't really, not a huge fan of. And that's fine. It is what it is. If I ever need to watch the original versions, sans the 1977 original release where they didn't even say Episode 4, they just said Star Wars. There's nobody that can get that unless you have the original 35 or 16 millimeter. That's too much money. I do have the originals on, as much as I hate to say the format now because it sucks, DVD. I do have the originals that were released there with none of the special edition extras. But for the original trilogy and also the prequel trilogy, yes, this is the first time on 4K. And it comes out at the end of this month, $250. So, I don't care.
But isn't it missing the in-betweeners?
Is it what?
The in-betweeners, Rogue One.
Skywalker Saga. Even though Rogue One technically would fall into that, there were no Skywalkers in it. It was... except for, obviously Vader at the end of the movie.
Vader,
but,
technically, but yeah.
No, I get that. But what I'm saying is the story itself did not center on what he was doing. He showed up at the end and bridged the gap into
I get it.
4.
It's a side story, but if that didn't happen,
of course.
it wouldn't have moved in. I think they
course.
should have threw that in there.
Nah, man, that thing would have been $400 just because.
Just $400 for one extra movie?
No, they would have, because you said all the side stories. So
Well, how many side stories? You mean you got Solo and you got Rogue
One.
We ain't talking about no Christmas special.
Wow.
That would make it the definitive connection right there. Get that Christmas special in there.
Right. Clone Wars and Rebels.
Stay away from the Christmas special.
I already have Clone Wars and Rebels all the way up to everything except for what's on Disney Plus now. But the thing is, I look at it as this is an awesome release. I'm definitely going to be glad to get it because then I can pull some other stuff off of my Blu-ray shelf and just put this maybe along the top or something. But it's been a long time coming, but I just honestly wish that they would make a way for you to watch the original, unmessed with, super crazy special edition versions of the films in 4K, because I think that would be a really good send-off for the Skywalker saga.
It would. One last swan song. In a way, wouldn't we have had it on 4K already if George Lucas was still in control of the property? Because it's like he would have pimped this thing out with a release every single year.
Here's the thing.
See me.
I don't know.
Because like Spielberg and Lucas, you already know they're legends in Hollywood, and they're pretty tight as far as things go. Spielberg held off from putting Indiana Jones on DVD and Blu-ray for a long time. I don't know why. He just did. I have no idea.
Wouldn't he get more money from it?
You would think that, but I mean, like, he held off on, like, the Indiana Jones collection. I was waiting around for that for a while, because I have that on VHS, DVD, and Blu-ray.
That was through Fox, wasn't it?
No. Indiana Jones was,
No. I think it was
Paramount.
only just Star Wars that was distributed through
Yeah,
Fox.
yeah, Star
Indiana
Wars is
Jones, I think,
Fox.
was just strictly Lucasfilms. I think.
No,
No,
Indiana
I'm
Jones
talking about
is
the
Paramount.
Or-
original run. So it's Paramount.
Yeah,
Okay.
Okay,
I
all
don't know,
right.
I
I
thought it
stand
was
corrected.
Fox.
and Paramount be putting stuff out all the time. They don't care. They like, hey, more money.
Yeah, the thing is, I remember when they were talking about like supposedly trying to re-release the original Star Wars movies, and supposedly they said they couldn't because they weren't the original cuts weren't well preserved or something like
Oh
that.
no, that was
And
that was the reason the special editions were even made.
Right.
These footage they always would show to show just how bad it got as far as degrading of the film quality, because again, film is physical.
Yeah.
That's the one failing of physical is, film can rot. But they showed the scene on the Tantive 4 where Darth Vader and the I guess the officer were walking down the hallway, talking about holding Princess Leia is dangerous, this and that, blah blah blah, and you could see that Vader in the hallway and everything had like almost a green tint to it, like it was just the film was failing. So if they were like, if we hadn't got this to make special edition, this film would have been just basically just disintegrated and been destroyed forever. And you would not have any original cut of Star Wars,
Gotcha.
at all. So it's good for them to keep going back, preserving and cleaning up and doing what they got to do. Is Miao Yen still on the line? Because I remember she said she wanted to say something about Star Wars.
I think she was having
I
some. Oh, there you are. There you are.
I
Never mind.
would say, I mean, you guys were having such a nice talk about it. I didn't want to come in and say that they did recently confirm that all of the Skywalkers probably really died from mono.
Wow.
Why is they kissing each other?
Well, Leia and Luke.
Kissing everybody.
Diseases in the
Well,
far,
hold
far
on.
galaxy.
Well, who else did Luke kiss?
Luke kissed Leia. I mean, Luke was probably in the background kissing Ewoks and all the other stuff too.
Wow.
I'm sorry, Jedi Luke was
We didn't
pretty
know
damn-
what he was doing
You
on
know
that
what?
He
island
was
by
warrior monk
himself.
like. He wasn't
He
kissing
pretty much
nobody.
was.
Only thing
You
is
know
Luke
what?
fell
I'm
in
staying
some
away from that.
swamp water. That was probably pretty bad.
Yo, I bet Luke can figure out the 3 shells like in Demolition Man.
He probably
Probably
could.
could have.
Probably could have. But no.
Why though? Like that's disrespectful.
Yeah.
Like Anakin wasn't kissing a bunch of people. He had eyes for one woman.
And one woman only.
You said no.
He's
He
one
had
woman
eyes
man.
for robots.
He's one
That
woman
is
man.
that is until he tried to
It's
force
a
choke her.
kid.
But other than
Right.
that, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, I didn't say he didn't have. I didn't say
Like,
he didn't
she-
have hands
It's
for
probably
that
something
woman
she got
too.
all the time.
Sure did. Anyway, so segueing away from the Skywalker Saga box set, which sounds like it's going to be a pricey but almost must-have deal for anybody that has Star Wars in their collection.
Yep.
So the High Republic was announced last week, and the High Republic is their ambitious next level or next move, next chapter for the Star Wars, or for Star Wars in general. Now, a lot of people have been wanting to go back to the Old Republic, which is already a video game. Has already been a video game, Knights of the Old Republic, and even it has an MMO. So they decided to bridge that gap and bring it forward, go back before the rise of the Empire, and even before the Republic started to fall with Sheev Palpatine, by going back to like almost the Republic's heyday. So they're calling it the High Republic. It takes place where Yoda is young. He still has hair. He has like red hair.
does
He's
that
still
look like?
youngish. Like I don't know.
I mean,
he's
how
Oh.
young?
Oh, he's a
talking like-
ginger.
He looks like a
Like,
young Bob. He
he's
looks
like-
young Bob Dylan.
No, like we're talking younger than that. We're talking like his prime, like in his
man.
prime.
Hold on.
So-
They said this is about 260 years before what we know, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that would put Yoda sitting right around, I don't know, 640.
Yeah. So for him, he's still that's
So-
still in his prime.
Right.
So he's not
Whatever,
necessarily
man.
elderly, but like
he's
more or
very
less like
seasoned.
middle
Either
age.
way it go, he's still a virgin.
He's
You know-
not middle-aged. He's like 35, 40.
Right,
Whatever,
now see-
Yoda's a virgin.
So for me, I think the High Republic, is a great initiative because they're going to spread this across numerous mediums. They're going to have novels in the story. They're going to have comic books,
like they
possibly
used
video,
to, huh?
probably video games, huh?
But they used
Oh, wait,
to
hold
before
on.
they- before they destroyed everything.
See, here's the deal. The difference is that this is all being controlled by one entity, and it's not going to be kind of like the Wild Wild West, like some of those novels were, where
I
a lot
get
of the
that,
stuff was
but
right.
I'm saying they could have just
I
did
mean,
this
some of
shit
those novels
while
are
they
good.
did the movies that's coming out now. They have to wait till this Yoda experience come out now. They had all the original stuff and they just said, oh, we're not gonna follow that, trash it all, get rid of it.
Right.
I don't blame
Dude,
them.
that's
I
too
don't
much.
blame
I
them
mean,
that
I don't
because-
blame them either. Like all the
Yeah.
different shit that they had between the novels and the comic books and
And think
like
about
or
how
whatever.
much-
It's
think about
like,
how many
dude, it
different
was too
authors are
much.
out there
It was
and all
too
that other
much.
stuff.
Different
You bought.
theories.
I know
you
nobody
bought all
want to
of-
hear that, but it was
Right.
way too much.
They bought all of Star Wars and ILM and Lucasfilm. They didn't buy all of them damn side deals and
Right.
whatever. And
Corin
commissions
Horn,
and-
Mara
it's
Jade,
it's
you know,
nah,
Jason
it's like,
and
nah,
Jaina
we
Solo.
cutting all
yeah.
that stuff out. We ain't
Right,
paying all
the
them
Yuzan
royalties.
Vong, they didn't want to take
That's
all of that
too
on.
many
Yeah,
royalties.
that's way too much.
I
Way
wouldn't-
too much.
Yeah, I wouldn't want that headache. That's
Yeah,
that's
right.
Headache
So
and
at
a
least
half.
Right.
the High Republic is kind of going to restore some of that, and I'm actually kind of excited. And I think a lot of people are generally excited for the High Republic. You know, when it does start to come out. I'm an avid Star Wars comic book reader anyway, so I know I'm going to be picking that up. The novels, I haven't read one of the Star Wars novels. It's been a long time, but I do remember really enjoying reading the Star Wars novels. So I'll be very interested to see how they basically flesh out the lore of which is, by most accounts, is a pretty unknown period of Star Wars time.
King Takeem said, "Don't you besmirch Mara Jade."
I'm not besmirching. I'm just saying.
I'm saying what he said. I'm relaying the message.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying. Like, I'm not saying that Mara Jade was a terrible character. Mara Jade Skywalker. Excuse me. Let me put some respect on her name. But
She's Skywalker, it's all right.
right. Wow.
Yep, there you go.
The slander.
Hey, the only Skywalker that matters is Anakin.
Yeah.
All the other ones, whatever.
But no, I think the High Republic is going to be a great initiative moving the Star Wars franchise forward.
As long as they actually have good video games, like don't cancel my Darth Maul game again, but they did cancel, and as long as they make some good animation and some good movies.
Now, see, I wonder how this is going to go over because this is before the Sith even rose again. Like, so it's going to
But
be.
they're always there.
Yeah, I'm sure. So I'm just very interested to see what these enemies are that they're going to conjure up for the Jedi to fight.
Here's how I see this, and I think this, as much as I love the Jedi and the Sith, and I love the Sith more than the Jedi. The Mandalorian showed that you can do a Star Wars thing without the Jedi and the
I agree,
Sith.
and
so.
yeah.
I think that's where they're going to go.
So that's what you
for a
think
little
Disney
while.
Plus, you think?
For a little while. Because, no, I don't know. No, I'm just saying, just even in the comics and whatever stories they tell with this High Republic thing. Because we've relied on the Sith Jedi conflict for basically every single movie. Every single movie without fail has had a lightsaber, red or blue or green or whatever, at least one red lightsaber in every single movie. So if you...
Yep.
Yeah, because even at the end of Solo, they snuck it in. So it's like, okay, if you're going to constantly just stick with this Jedi Sith thing, it don't matter if we're not dealing with Skywalkers right now. It's going to be the same story. So
Yeah.
I think them going into the smugglers, the bounty hunters, all of that stuff like that you see on The Mandalorian, I think that is going to get people hype. And again, The
Right.
Mandalorian killed it. Like when
They
it
did.
came out, it came out.
My-
And even though, and even some folks like myself were confused at first. It's like Darksaber doesn't necessarily have anything to do with the Jedi or Sith still. So
Well,
that's
Darksaber
still
is
within.
awesome.
That's still. It's still for the most part within the concept of the Mandalorian itself. So,
I'll give them props.
I
I'll give
am-
them props for even
but I am-
doing the dark
yeah.
saber though. That was I was like, wow.
yeah, that's going to be interesting going forward.
Yep.
And like I know, the thing is, I had spoke to a couple friends where they were saying that some, of course, Star Wars fans are going to be Star Wars fans. I still love my friend, but whatever. The thing is that when he's kind of, some folks have kind of got this concept with the second season, maybe sort of kind of like bridging to stuff that we may know, whatever they think is going to bog down the series, but I don't think it's going to do that. It's like, because it's like, look, it's Star Wars, stuff is going to interconnect anyway, so it's like,
Yeah.
so it's just like, I'm not going to really trip too much on that. I mean, look, you got a baby version of Yoda in the
he's the
series,
child.
okay, it's the child, whatever. The thing the thing is, like, that was a familiar thing that we've known Star Wars to be, because Yoda has always been the thing since what? In Empire Strikes Back.
Yoda's
So
stingy as hell with the Force though.
yeah, and it's just, again, it's like but I still love the Mandalorian, the fact that it's able to do its own standalone Star Wars story where, again, like you said, doesn't have to rely on the Sith and Jedi conflict. So, just kind of just wait and see what they do with that or whatever. And the High Republic still seems pretty interesting to me. So I'm looking forward to seeing what went on, like, a couple
Back in the
centuries
day.
back.
Yep.
You know, that's
I
one. That's one
want to
of the
see
reasons.
Alderaan.
Yeah.
I want to see what's going on over there. Like expand that without, going into obviously divulging into Skywalker story and stuff. But that was a whole planet. That was a whole thing. That was
Well, she
royalty and all
was
this other
Bail
stuff.
Organa and
Right.
all them weren't even there yet. So
So,
it'll be interesting.
but I mean, and that's why I love the Mandalorian because it showed a different part of this vast universe that we've only got to see a smidge of, right?
Right.
Mhm.
So I hope that there is some palace intrigue in there with, obviously you have the ruling class and all that kind of stuff, but then you're back out there with the bounty hunters and, maybe we'll see Tatooine in its like heyday when it wasn't like a shithole and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
There's
Like
no such day. They,
Right.
all right, they farm moisture.
Right.
Okay,
That's
that's
it.
what they do.
It's a
Look,
desert planet.
look,
that
maybe
planet
it
ain't-
used to
nah.
be a nice
There's no
place.
vegetation.
Nope.
There's no trees.
Yeah, Tatooine didn't have no heyday.
Yeah. There's no oceans. No.
I'm saying maybe at one time it
No.
did.
No.
That's a stretch. Have fun with
No. No.
All right, well, we gotta move.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
we gotta
Maybe,
move on.
maybe,
Yeah.
maybe there was a time when Tatooine didn't have two suns. Maybe that's what did it. I don't know.
Look,
You think
we
the sun? You
don't
think the sun
know
just
what
gonna
we
up and
don't
pop up
know.
on its own, just out of the blue? Okay.
All right, y'all.
Hey,
so
I'm
we gotta,
I'm
go
trying to
ahead.
help. I'm trying to help out. Like I'm just saying,
Look,
you never
you
know.
you can look at it like Vegas. Like if you've been down to Fremont Street and stuff like that, it didn't always look like how it does now. It used to look nice.
Yeah.
So Tatooine could have that or not.
Sure thing. No, I highly doubt it. All right, y'all.
It was a thing. It's just saying what's out there, what's going on.
It's-
We'll
hey,
see.
look, you dribble and you shoot. You mean you try, man.
Right.
Like,
Yeah. No. Yeah. That's
I
not happening.
mean, hey, airball.
All right. So, all right, y'all. I know we're running over a little bit, but we're gonna go ahead and get to the main event. So hit it, shorty. All right, y'all. So obviously, we know that the coronavirus has kind of been running rampant over the globe.
Damn it.
Originating in China, making its way westward. There's been more than a few fatal cases over here in the United States. There's been some over in Europe as well.
Are you sure it's not moving eastward?
No, I'm pretty sure
Probably
it's
both
moving
ways.
west.
Well, think about it. If it's
Westward.
moving eastward, because they got some, some things over in California
Wait a
first.
minute, Matt. Why are you wearing that mask? We're
Well,
not. We're not infected here.
I don't care.
I mean,
Oh,
you weren't
Jesus.
wearing this mask earlier. You know,
So,
why aren't you
I ain't
wearing?
taking,
Why
I
are
ain't
you
taking
wearing-
no chances.
Oh.
You know the funny thing is they say
It's
paper
a heavy
masks actually.
situation.
They say
You
paper masks actually
D-bags.
don't do nothing.
Yeah, that's what I heard too. Paper masks actually don't do jack.
Well, it's not the upgrade.
Make people
Yeah.
feel better.
Got the
So
T-virus
anyway,
You know
out
how
there.
many
So-
people come to my pharmacy like,
So-
you guys have hand sanitizers? You guys have masks?
So, it's affecting all levels of entertainment. We're talking sports. The NBA is already telling players don't high five fans anymore. Movies,
Damn.
and movies. We're talking movie stars like Gal Gadot, who
Not.
who absolutely hates flying private jets. The studio insists on her flying in a private jet just to make sure she doesn't get sick. Flying to Atlanta, which is already got infected cases.
That's where the CDC
So
is.
yeah, so now we, yeah, right. It sounds like it's going to be a T-virus. So the latest news has been that Mulan has had its China release completely canceled over concerns over the coronavirus, which I don't. It
That
doesn't seem
sucks.
like a large concern to me because I know eventually at some point during the year they will release that film. They're just canceling it for right now. And then the news came out today that James Bond's No Time to Die has been pushed all the way back to Thanksgiving, November 25th of this year. So
James Bond got no time to get sick.
yeah, no time. Yeah, James Bond ain't got no time to get sick. Wow, wait a minute, man. Now you in a Kylo Ren mask?
I'm upgraded.
He's
You
trying.
said the paper mask don't do nothing.
I mean, take every
What? You
precaution
want me to
that's
speak like Kylo Ren?
necessary.
We don't need that lemon lime virus.
Yeah. So So the
failing to
coronavirus
prepare.
affecting these things. How afraid are you? Is this much ado about nothing? One, or two, how? What else do we think this could possibly end up affecting? Because now it's starting to really affect summer movie releases, and may end up crippling the box office for this year. What's you guys' take on it?
Remember when
It's
H1N1
important to
came out?
say.
Remember when swine flu came out?
Well, it's important
Exactly.
to say
Yeah,
that
so we
in
be seeing movies
China,
this summer.
it's
Go ahead.
important to put the emphasis on in China these releases are delayed because as it stands, like movie theaters and stuff like that in the United States are still going to be open. Now, on the rumor mill online and stuff, they're saying that Disney, quote unquote, was thinking about putting it on, what was it, Disney Plus,
Disney
Mulan
has the
movie,
cure.
and I was like, I will be fine with that because I can just watch it at the crib and I can save my $25. Um, you know,
25.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. $25. Good
I mean,
Lord, that's a lot of
drinks are
money.
expensive. I need snacks and
Oh
stuff.
boy.
Okay.
You take
I was
yourself
like,
to
I was
Dollar
like, I
Tree.
hope you're not just talking about the tickets. Like, goodness.
No, that's the whole experience. That's the
You
whole
gotta take
experience.
Okay.
yourself to
All
the
right.
Dollar
All right.
Tree.
That's fair. That's fair.
Facts.
But I have snacks at the crib. I can just be here in the crib and watch it. So I think it would be interesting if it switched how we're gonna do movies too. Like if we're gonna have more releases online and you just have to look at it like that, that would be interesting. But I mean, it's serious. Wash your hands,
It'll be
cover
done
your
before
mouth.
May
Yeah.
1st. I guarantee you, when Black Widow comes out,
Nah,
it'll be over with.
it's not gonna help that movie.
Disney has the cure.
Dude, that's what I'm saying.
He
Like,
has to-
this stuff is gonna be over. People are panicking too much. Like all these people. Gosh, Monday when I walked into work, almost everybody walking out of Costco had
Had face masks on.
no. They had tons of water and tons of toilet paper.
Oh my
And they're
God, really?
Yeah, water, toilet paper. They
Okay.
sold out. I've never been in a situation they sold out. And we went through H1N1. We went through swine flu. We went through Zika. We went through all this other stuff. And nobody's panicking
Ebola.
like they're panicking now, right? And bet money.
SARS.
And about a month or two, when everybody stopped panicking, they're gonna all try to return that stuff.
And then check it. I work at the airport, so. Oh, he upgraded again, y'all. Look at this party, people.
Wow, so this dude's wearing an Iron Man mask now.
Oh my God.
Yeah, wow.
You know what? GQ, man, come on, bro.
This is
You serious?
This is a
Safety
case of
first.
doing a little bit too much.
I'm
Like,
not getting no.
First of all, could you imagine if this would have canceled Endgame or Infinity War?
oh man, no.
I'd have been ready to just
Man.
shoot
Oh,
people.
yeah.
No, I'd have been there.
I've been there too.
I'd have been there. I don't care.
Fuck all that.
Well, you can't be there at the theaters. Cancel it.
You can
Oh,
have
yeah,
a
see, I'd have a
makeshift,
problem.
hazmat suit. Get you one of those inflatable unicorn suits and just put that bitch on and walk around town.
Like Chris Rock said, give him a little
No.
Robitussin. He be all right.
yeah. Hey, some burners.
Some
Burners.
Yeah.
Got Tussin and burners. He be all right. Yeah, go
Y'all,
ahead.
y'all
no,
play
I
too
was
much.
gonna say so the coronavirus being what it is now, obviously we see there's a lot of economical shifting going on here with
Yeah.
the release of the coronavirus, with, as you alluded to, Dido, with the sorry, I'm getting distracted by this guy playing around with his Iron Man mask. So you brought up that a lot of people are like, saving up like it's Y2K all over again.
Oh yeah. It's
And I just wonder. In a way, I mean, I know it always plays to be safe. We should never discount the serious threat of a sickness out there. But do we feel like this might affect the releases of video games or other things that we generally like to consume in culture? Because honestly, when this first came out and they were all talking about the fear of it, my first immediate thought was the T-virus. That was my first immediate thought. I was like, wait a minute, is this gonna be
Yeah.
the rising of the
Hold on.
zombie apocalypse?
See, that's
What is
because
I'm
we
about to blow your
game.
mind.
That's really because
I'm
we
about to blow your
game a
mind
lot.
some more.
Sorry, go
Remember
ahead.
back then when they told you don't open up the mail because of anthrax?
yeah.
it? Yeah, I remember, yeah.
Yeah.
Man,
So
look.
I'll be damned if a movie release or a game release is going to affect anything
I mean, they are canceling stuff.
Sure.
They're canceling a lot of
Yeah.
the different companies are canceling going to whatever trade shows is coming up.
Oh, that's right.
Well,
you know, a lot of people
Yeah.
are pulling out
Yeah,
trade shows
a lot
too.
of
I'll still be at Comic-Con this year.
They're talking about the Olympics might
Yeah.
be canceled, which is hilarious because if it canceled,
What?
the Olympics might get canceled.
Oh yeah, I heard about
But I
that.
said if that's funny because if you guys remember Akira, not only did Akira predict that the 2020 Olympics were going to be in Tokyo, but not only that, but it got canceled.
Yep.
Wait, Akira did that for real?
Yeah.
Akira did that way
Back in the
That's-
80s.
Simpsons did it.
That's interesting. I mean, the only thing that I remember hearing about it was I was speaking to my younger brother about it, and he was concerned.
Now we all of a sudden over on this with the coronavirus, whatever the actual designation is.
Right.
COVID.
Yeah.
COVID-19.
COVID-19. Why 19?
2019.
Because I think
Because
Oh,
that's
2019.
strange.
Oh,
That
there
makes
you go.
sense. Thank you, Shorty.
Well, that's
Because that's
annoying
a
and
strand.
strange. And,
Umbrella Corporation did this.
right, probably.
Yeah.
So they should have
Yeah.
just called it UBT.
So-
I thought that would have been that'll work.
Yeah, no, dude. I mean, straight
Yeah.
up Demolition Man, this boy, right? You know, that would have been funny.
It's the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like one of the other things I remember hearing is my brother said that he was like concerned with the fact that I think the season pass for Samurai Showdown wound up getting pushed until further notice.
But how?
It's a
or whatever.
digital
So
release.
it's
Like,
like
how does that get pushed? I don't understand.
I don't know. Like, I think they were originally going to announce a date for it, but they wound up not announcing a date. So, like, as far as I know, maybe they just didn't get enough development for it before like started getting bad, because apparently a lot of testers over at the company or whatever were told to just stay home
Wow.
and and just work from home or whatever. So, like, apparently it's starting to slow down game development, obviously. So,
Oh, no, see, now
kinda
that I
sucks.
won't take.
See, so-
You can't be slowing down game development.
So protection is real tough, huh? So,
Yeah.
so because you prioritize protection, you can't even hear what's going on.
Hey,
in the
I
show.
got to make sure I hear what they're saying, just so I can join in and have proper comebacks. But if they start truly canceling games and pushing games back,
Yeah.
that's
And see, that's what I was
the
worried about.
line.
Yeah, that's what I was worried about. Like them actually starting to do these types of things where they start to really like affect commerce. You know, like we're talking about, okay, what at what point are they going to start canceling shipments of food? You know, what's going to happen there? Like people are going to be basically quarantined in their houses because of this widespread
Why
outbreak.
didn't they do this with SARS or MERS, or why didn't they do this with this other stuff? What makes this one different? They said
I don't know.
for people who are healthy,
I don't know.
it's going to be like having a cold. For those who are old or have some kind of
Oh, so this is
impairment,
population control, like I thought.
Yeah,
I knew
if there's
that
some
too.
kind of impairment.
like, did we even have like any cases like in the U.S. with SARS?
Yes.
Yeah, there were, but
Yeah, there
it
was
was
few.
very few.
Yeah, it
I
was
just
very
don't
few.
see. I didn't see people acting in the exact same way, man. I mean, I swear, I work in
Yeah.
the pharmacy,
It's the media.
and every other person that comes over is asking, "You guys sell masks?" I'm putting it out there for the little that are listening. We don't sell masks.
At Costco, we don't sell masks at Costco.
And we do not sell hand sanitizer. My specific one
What?
has not had hand sanitizer in years. I'm talking about more than 5 years or so. We've not had hand sanitizer.
What? I'm
At
surprised
all.
by
Man, I gotta
that.
go down to the
Wow,
pop top.
that's-
Yeah, I'm
That's-
surprised by that.
I mean,
I
go to Walmart. Come on, people.
Go to the dollar store. I bet nobody hitting that
Too
up.
many people go to Walmart already.
Go to Target.
You go to that dollar store, get you some dollar store hand sanitizer.
Go
Man, I
to
should
the
be-
grocery
I should-
store. Like so many places sell hand sanitizer.
Yeah, so
They
many
do.
of them.
So I mean,
Walgreens,
okay, so,
CVS. I mean, yeah.
Y'all getting
You know,
sold out.
honestly, I don't expect this to really go much longer, but for it to reach the fervor where they are literally canceling releases of movies, and they were canceling, game releases, and they're canceling convention appearances and things of this nature. I mean, I know this seems like a very frivolous thing that we're all super concerned about.
Oh, it's not frivolous.
I don't think it's frivolous.
Well, I guess it
because
depends on where your priorities lay.
My priorities lay in
Yeah.
the highest dollar, the highest bidder. Because if you start canceling Chinese releases of Disney films and every other film, that stock price goes down.
So you think
Right.
you think Warner Brothers got a hand in this?
No,
No.
Oh, knock it off.
but
See what I was getting at.
they ain't that good.
Yeah. No.
Y'all giving humans too much credit, okay?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Are we?
A little,
Are
a
we
little
really?
too much.
Yes, because most humans, no. This kind of stuff gets spread by accident, not deliberately. And if it was spread
I
deliberately,
don't
it
know
would be
about
killing
that.
people
I
faster.
don't know about that.
Spread by what?
I would say
I'm not.
if it was done deliberately, people would be dying faster. Is my point.
Yeah, I don't think it was. I don't
They
think
said
it was a
that about the
deliberate
T-virus.
thing
It sure did.
That's not.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It would be faster. The T-virus is how fast the T-virus spread.
As long as we don't have no dude with a big fedora and a coat walking around chasing
Right.
everybody. I'm
Sunglasses.
good.
Yeah.
Mr. X walking around here and shit.
I think it'd be awesome.
Yo, that would be crazy. We gotta get rocket launchers ASAP. And tons of it.
Listen,
Like,
just
they
to our
ain't gonna
viewers
stop.
out there,
I think
this is no way us downplaying the situation. We just gotta
not
laugh
at-
about
not
it,
at all.
okay?
No,
We
you
just
sometimes you just gotta laugh. No, you do really. Sometimes you just gotta laugh. 'Cause it's absurd. Honestly, I hopefully we pray that the coronavirus gets a vaccine very soon. I know our esteemed.
What do you mean gets a vaccine?
By
They
this
already have
time
one.
next year, everybody would have forgot about it.
They
Yeah,
already have a vaccine. They ain't using it right now.
yeah.
Yeah, there's a vaccine.
Yeah, I'm sure there is. And like we said before, this is an extreme form of population control. Some people was like, "Hey, God ain't moving fast enough.
This is the hands of Thanos.
Yeah, we need to speed this thing up a little bit."
Hold on.
Control.
Nina Huxley left out the coronavirus then when she was listing off
She
them
did. Yes, she did.
epidemics. So maybe this ain't even
So
gonna be
we-
a big
so-
epidemic like that.
Okay, so you saying that Demolition Man, the world of San Andreas is? I mean, not San Andreas.
San Angeles.
San Angeles is gonna come true.
I don't know, but all I know is they was pretty damn close to that Schwarzenegger Presidential Library.
Yeah.
Yeah, they was about to have 35.
No,
Sure.
it is
That
not
would have been
a
hilarious.
population control disease.
Can you believe they thought we was gonna have cryo prisons in 1996? you know how off that
shit.
and again, I get it. They trying to make a movie. They
Like, wait a
put
minute.
something out there.
And Demolition Man came out what 1993, 1993.
It was
93 and 90,
Yeah, it was like
93, I
It was
think.
like
So they
basically
were
like
like-
right around the corner.
Right,
Like,
in 3 years you gonna have cryo prisons? Like, are you serious?
like, oh,
Okay.
Man.
Okay.
y'all have at it,
Right.
Mr. Friendly.
Right.
Right.
Edgar.
Edgar
Friendly.
Friendly.
Good friend.
Yes. All right, y'all. So we got that was the show. We're gonna wrap it up. But first and foremost, think we're ready? Are we ready to announce that other thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So. Show notes and very important milestone for us as the Culture Junkies. We have activated a Patreon account. We have a brand new Patreon, and you can find it at patreon.com/culturejunkies. You can go ahead and sign up for the first 3 tiers and get all the different perks, including getting daily shout outs on all of our videos that we produce, including
Daily?
Culture Junkies Live. Yeah, well, yeah, every video that we get.
No.
Every video that
They
we
gotta
make.
read the information because you already.
No.
talking about daily.
So
I ain't getting
the,
up there. I ain't
the
getting
high
up in the morning
tier,
with that every day like
we'll
that.
give you a shout out as a producer of Culture Junkies Live, and we really would really appreciate all the input of all the people out there. We also will be changing a little bit of our Facebook page because we have merch to buy as well
yeah.
for everybody.
Hey.
We're talking like shirts, sweaters. We're talking shirts, sweaters, and
Probably
gear.
can't see it.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
You gotta switch
be
the
on the
camera
lookout
to
for
it
that.
when you go on the camera.
For all of that, really great stuff. We're excited to bring it to you. We hope that we can count on all of our loyal fans for your support as we continue to grow the brand of Culture Junkies and spread the Junkie Nation around the world. So, any last thoughts before we get out of here, guys?
For some odd reason, the scene with Booker T was wanted Hulk Hogan just popped in my head. Hulk Hogan come for you. Not gonna say the word, but
Yeah.
you know.
That
Yeah.
was hilarious. I
Yep,
think I
that-
actually saw that.
I don't know why they popped in my head.
Because you random.
Yeah, I am. It was super
Yeah,
random.
you so right.
That would
I
that
am.
would have threw me through a loop if I watched that live. That was awesome.
Play that clip. No, I'm joking. Yes, merchandise.
Yes, merchandise. Go on by the merchandise. We
You got
have
the link?
You got to put the link.
Yeah,
in
we'll
there
be putting the
for
link.
it.
Put the link in the
Yeah,
chat
put the link
already.
to the Patreon in the chat.
Put the
Dido
link in
did.
the chat
We're gonna put the link to our storefront where you can buy an assortment of different shirts, sweaters, socks, even.
We got socks?
We got socks,
socks.
brother.
Oh
We
man,
got
I'm
socks,
talking about,
brother.
I'm the sock king.
Yeah, no, we got socks, brother. So we
Teespring,
got
baby.
all via Teespring.
Damn, shout out
The
to
sale is
Teespring.
up right now. The store will be active until the 30th of March. So you got time. Go and peruse some of our products. But at some point we'll be introducing our new line of the Obsidian Geek Society. Will be some absolutely specialized shirts, limited edition sales,
So
limited
when you
edition
see 'em, you
sales
gotta
of
get 'em.
original merchandise that we'll be bringing out exclusively to all of you guys. So make sure you check out all those links and give us your support. So
Oh, I got an idea.
Yes.
If you do buy the merchandise, take a picture and send it to us. We'll post it.
absolutely, we will post it on our
Yeah, social
media. Because we, there's one thing that we love. It's sharing the love and of.
We appreciate
our
all
friends.
of y'all.
We
That's
appreciate all of
Absolutely.
you.
This has been a long time coming.
Yeah, very long
Long time coming.
Yeah, very long time coming. So we're happy that we were able to finally put this together for y'all. So we're gonna go ahead and wrap up the show and get out of here. Make sure you come back for episode 203 of Culture Junkies Live next week. Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. So for all my good friends, GQ, the Great Dadakuji, Super Nerd Plus, Follow Marvel, and Meow Yin, I am Kishiro. We'll see you guys next week. Peace out.
Wash your hands and brush your teeth. Good
That's
night.
Wash your hands and brush
Yeah.
your butt. I mean,
Especially wash your
butt.
goddamn
Did you say
hands.
brush
Wash
your
your
butt?
ass.
Wash your ass, brush your butt, no.
Huh?
That's not it.
My
I'll
God,
get
Don't
right-
use
hold
the
on.
same- and don't use the
Hold
same
on.
brush for everything.
Yeah.
Send
That's
it.
Just wash your goddamn hands.
There you go.
There you go.
Please.
That's all you got to say. All right, goodbye, everybody.
Peace.
Peace out.